Hey everyone, welcome to Pop XP. And before the show starts, make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. And don't forget, if you can, make sure to share our stream on all your social media outlets. We appreciate it, and thanks for helping us grow the Pop XP channel. What is going on, YouTube? It's the brain of the mainframe here, Nile, Scala with the Pop XP, and joining me for the Creator Power Hour is Miss Cara Nicole. What is up, Cara?
I love your voiceover voice. Your voiceover
Do you like that?
is so great. Yeah, it's like so soft and soothing, and you expect it.
Hey
to,
guys.
Like, hey guys. You know, yeah, it's lovely. I really enjoy that.
I'm gonna do that. What is that? Where like people talk in like the microphone, soft and like
ASMR.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that. Like we're going to do a new some campaigns here, and then they make like those weird fucking mouth noises. Ah!
Yeah,
I don't know, it grosses
they like
me out.
tap things and
They tap the mic and they eat pickles, and you hear them crunching on pickles, or they're sucking on like chicken legs and stuff. I don't know. I could go for some chicken. I don't know, some chicken wings or something.
Sucking
So
on
what?
pickle legs.
What? No. But so Cara, it's been a while. It's actually been a while since I've done like a crowdfunding comics episode, Creator Power Hour. So it's good to be back. We've got two amazing campaigns. Just to preview really quick here, we are going to be talking with Dan Mendoza and Nightmare Lynch for Zombie Tramp number 58. And then we've got Austin Hough on and Alex Saviuk, if I said that right. I'm not sure. But anyways, legend in the industry, an amazing, Alex is an amazing Spider-Man artist. The dude, needs to get more recognition for the work that he did on Spider-Man, but this series here has so many legends on it, so it's going to be really cool. But we'll dive in to Zombie Tramp first, which is going to be awesome. But what have you been up to? Before we get in with everyone, how is the life of Cara Nicole, Power Girl? How are we doing?
Okay, so these came in. I've been waiting on these.
Nice.
All right, they're like super nice. It's like that really nice like cotton. I was like really excited about that. We actually start shipping the calendars tomorrow. Everything's in. We've been organizing that sort of thing. So yeah, everything's all we're shipping starts tomorrow. Like the actual packaging up. We've been getting everything in. So really excited about that. And Fire Bitch is coming along really, really well. We brought in another colorist because I just wasn't able to do it. I wanted to make sure we got going on it. So we are a little behind, but this is a little bit bigger book. I mean, I want to say this is over 40 pages. So it's like 42 pages or something around those lines. And, that's some more stuff. And then we've got the art book with it as well. Alfred Trujillo's sketchbook launches next Wednesday.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, and he's got some amazing covers. Really excited for that as well.
Very cool. And launching it on Kickstarter?
Yes, we are launching it.
Well, then I guess we have something to show next week, huh?
Hey, we're down.
Is he gonna come on? Will he come on?
If you want to have us, yeah, we'll absolutely.
Let's do it.
So hot. Yeah, his art has just been. He kind of like did this thing where he like didn't publicly do anything for a while. He did like the okay, can go on because he was studying, and he'll do that. He goes through these times where he just studies and works on his stuff and builds his craft.
Oh, very cool. That's awesome. So we'll do that next week. We'll get on and we'll check out the campaign. Awesome. But speaking of campaigns, let's bring our first guests on and let's talk a little bit about Little Miss Zombie Tramp. So everyone, please welcome Dan Mendoza and Nightmare Lynch back to the show. Boom.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Dan? What's up, Nightmare? How we doing?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Doing good. I feel like I get to see you guys like it's almost like we're on like a schedule now. It's great.
What is it? Every 10 weeks.
With Zombie Tramp.
I know, right? So Zombie Tramp 58, man. This is pretty cool, and it's doing awesome, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a when I left the other publisher for Zombie Tramp and stuff, like I left at 56, so I'm kind of like trying to close out my arc. So like it's gonna go to about 60 before I close it out. So I'm trying to get those books out as quick as possible so we can get up to 60 by like around July next year, and then just close out that whole arc and then start with a new chapter. So
very cool, very cool. So that's good. Can you do anything with that though? Like those first, like, can you do anything with the first 60 runs?
Yeah, volume 1, the origin book, and volume 2. Yeah, so they're even available in this Kickstarter. You can order those. You can add those on. So as you get the origin and you get some cool stories. It gets more complex once you get into when Zombie Tramp was a monthly series, because I didn't fund those books. The publisher funded those books, so then it gets into like a big thing. So I'm not gonna bother with it. So
no, I got you.
Unless they want to willfully hand those over, that'd be awesome. But yeah.
Why not? Just ask nicely. Send in the letter to Santa there.
I'm not very
kindly
good at
bring those over. But that's cool. So you're looking at then 2 more issues within this story arc, and then you're branching off on a whole new story.
Yeah, like after that we're gonna go back to what we did before. It was a monthly series where it would just be like, let's say if it's a 4-part story, whatever the title of that story was, like if it was like the Taint Train of Terror, it'd be Taint Train of Terror issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4. Then that closes that out. Then you put it into a trade and it becomes a volume. So every time you have a new chapter, you just go by the name of the chapter and just call it 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, how many issues that chapter is, So I don't want to. Those giant numbers are kind of intimidating the newer fans and stuff. So.
Where they can start. That's always the question. Where do I start? But you're right. If you have it in chapters, then you have books almost in chunks, so you can jump in to any volume essentially.
Yeah. So since I'm reissuing the 13-year anniversary of Volume 1 and Volume 2. When I finish off this thing I'm doing up to 60, I'm going to close that into a trade that will be Volume 3. So there's enough like flashback scenes and things like that to get people like the gist of it, so they wouldn't have to go back and read all those books.
Yeah.
Nice. Can we talk about something a little more important though? It's actually a little more important than this campaign.
What's that?
You're freaking newlyweds.
That's right.
You're newlyweds. You guys, it's official.
It's like that's 30, what is it? Is it like 37 days ago or something like that? Maybe more. Maybe 40 something days ago.
Was it a good time? Did you guys have fun?
Can you believe this? He doesn't even know.
Yeah, it was.
He already doesn't know the anniversary. Unbelievable.
It doesn't seem like that long ago.
Yeah. Oh, that was crazy. I stalked the photos whenever they got posted, and it looked like a good time.
We don't get our wedding
like
photos.
A glimpse, like I posted like 2 pictures probably, but we get like the final pictures like after Christmas, so it'll be. Thank you.
Janet Bates, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Nice. Now you're an official power couple. Official
nice.
power couple.
The power couple.
The power couple. So let's
it feels exactly the same though. We've been together for like 7 years. It's like
7 years. That's the way it should
How
be.
will it feel around tax time?
Yeah, that's where it gets a little better. That's where it does get a little better. But let's dive into the campaign. So here we have it. You guys have Zombie Tramp 58 on Kickstarter. You have 10 days to go. You guys are currently, you're approaching $130,000. That's fantastic.
Crazy.
Has this met or exceeded your highest campaign?
No, my highest campaign was the first Zombie Tramp I put out, which was like 240 or something like that.
Oh wow.
So this one is kind of people start jumping on towards the end, and it's kind of, this is the latest I've ever done a campaign. It's like so close to Christmas that I'm kind of experimenting to see what happens with it, but it's doing really good, so I'm happy about it.
Yeah, no, it's doing great. Yeah, a lot of crowdfunders I've talked to always talk about that, like with the holiday seasons, is it a good time to launch? Is it not? I always say, well, it could be like, Christmas gifts for people. You know, let them know that you back something for them, or
let them know they
whatnot.
don't get it till July.
You're not, yeah, like just print out the slip so they know what they're getting, right? You know, it's like it's a stocking stuffer.
But it was good for Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving like weekend and stuff, people are just sitting around with family and they just sit around on their phones. So I was just promoting and and unlocking covers and things like that during that holiday weekend, and it did really well that weekend because people are just sitting on their phones. So
yeah, well, let's check
but
out
she's
your
also like Christmas colors too with her original outfit.
with the green skin and the red outfit.
green skin, red outfit, the red blood. It all works. It's a Christmas themed book all year round.
It is.
It is. Let's check out your guys. Let's check out the campaign video.
Sure.
Welcome everybody to another awesome issue of Zombie Tramp. This is Zombie Tramp 58, man. Let's talk a little bit about story. I hope you guys like what we got going on in this story. It takes place right after issue 57 with Janie Bell still in her heated battle with her new adversary, Mel Diaz. But things are cut a little bit short when she runs into a new character that we are just calling Mr. Wise. What is Mr. Wise? Who is Mr. Wise? What's his agenda? You'll find out when you read the pages of Zombie Tramp 58. So check out this campaign. We got so many awesome artists, so many awesome covers, a little bit of cool merch. We got another body pillowcase. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do another one, but then I had to do it. We had to do this one right here. So never say never, I guess. And for the first time, we got things like the 3D mouse pad and a lot of cool surprises, a lot of cool brand new artists and guest artists. So thank you in advance for checking out this campaign. Thank you for your support as always, man. We couldn't do it without you. And I will see you later.
Got that animation in there again.
Love the animation. It's
Yeah,
so
I always love to put the Zong Brother animations in there. They were on vacation, so they couldn't do a new one. So that was animation from 56, where they did a animated flip book. So that was the animation from the flip book.
Oh, nice. Are they going to do your animated feature film yet?
I talked to them about stuff like that. Since it's only two guys, they're like, this. It's too insane. They're happy with like the shorter things.
They could do a bunch of shorts that all tie together.
Yeah, I was gonna do that. Like if I can get enough shorts, like I've been doing for every Zombie Tramp, where there's like a different kind of intro of different kind of things, that could kind of be pieced together like in a pitch Bible and shop it around studios and stuff. So
nice. So you've got the same team on the project.
Yes, small team.
Yep. Small. That's pushing out some great stuff. So I saw. So in the preview that you're talking about, you've got the Wise Man.
Oh, Mr. Wise.
Mr. Wise. Yeah. That's pretty
He's
dope. I like his style. It's got that like, what was it, Slender Man type of feel.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking a lot of not of Slender Man, but of that creepy old man from Poltergeist 2.
Yep.
And then kind of just elongate him like more Jack Skellington and stuff like that. So.
So tell us about the issue now. So people that have been backing the book, they've got the past issues. Where are we going at? Where are we coming into issue 58?
It's like basically the very next page. So it doesn't have any kind of in between time really. So it's kind of she's like in this big battle with this new character Mel Diaz, who basically was an imposter zombie tramp. And then it was her and her friend, and in the last issue, spoilers, but Zombie Tramp murders her friend and was in the midst of murdering her, but she kind of got more than she thought, that she kind of got more than she bargained for when she went against her. So, awesome. Things are interrupted by Mr. Wise, though.
Oh, excellent. That's very mysterious. I'm very curious about Mr. Wise and what's going to happen in this issue. Love this cover, by the way.
The House of Secrets.
Yes.
Yes,
The
man.
homage cover.
Yes.
Fantastic. Now, is this the main cover?
Yes, that's the main cover. That's reward 1 right there.
Awesome. And then reward 2.
We always follow
Nightmare
through with
Lynch.
the misses.
Awesome.
All
That's you
booty
right
Richard.
there. Then you got Zoe Stanley.
Yes.
Very nice cover. The runway. I like with the intestines there as the accessory.
Yes.
Awesome. And then Drax. I freaking love that kid.
Yeah, Drax blew up, man. All he had to do to blow up is we gave him a job, and then everybody started. Everybody's like, "Hey, I want that guy." And I was like, "He's mine. I already signed him."
Yeah. All right, New York Comic Con. This tall, skinny guy comes up to me. He's like, "Hey."
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, I'm Drax." I'm like, "Oh, whoa, dude, awesome."
Yeah. I saw the picture posted with you guys. That was cool.
Yeah. I sent it to you. I was like, "Oh, look who's here!" You know, it was awesome. It was awesome to meet him. He has some great stuff. We got the Bill McKay cover. You got to have the Bill McKay.
Yeah, you can't have a Zombie Tramp campaign without a Bill McKay Zombie Tramp cover.
That's how I first discovered him.
Yeah.
He's our guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Elias
Chazudis.
Very nice. How many covers are on the campaign?
I don't know.
I
I remember.
I hate that question.
I remember when I build it, but then you kind of forget.
Got Jimmy T in the house.
We got a Joe Chiodo right here.
Yes,
Joe Chiodo I was a big fan of his stuff in the '90s, man. His stuff was
the
awesome.
Zong Brothers cover.
Zong Brothers.
Very nice. Is that guy's leg ripped off? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
He's not using it.
No.
Yeah.
Alexa Lowe.
Yeah.
I love it.
She's a really good artist.
Speaker went off.
What is that?
Oh, did it really? That's funny.
Mine did earlier, so I feel you.
Void Wave cover. I like this cover a lot with the clown.
Yeah. This guy, I've never seen his stuff, and then Bill McKay used him for a cover on his Kickstarter. So I was like, "Yeah, where'd you find this guy?" He's like Twitter, so I hit him up, and yeah, he did this awesome cover set.
Oh, that's great.
Michael McComb.
Yeah,
Michael McComb. He came around and started doing Zombie Tramp covers after I had left and stuff like that. So he was kind of like iffy if I considered him a scab or something, So I was just like, no, man. I go, your stuff's really nice. Can you do some covers? And man, he's doing great. His covers are selling great.
Yeah, they're awesome. We got Cirque.
Yeah, Cirque is awesome. He does a Kickstarter himself, which is really awesome.
Oh, very cool. Let's see who else we got.
That's
on here.
so cute.
Lyrics.
Yeah, Lyrics is so good.
Great anime style.
Yeah.
I don't know. Him and Drax could compete.
Squint more and more.
Yeah, when you look at it, yeah, she makes the eyes squint like more and more as it transforms.
Oh yeah, that's cool. We got the other Mendoza cover.
A little bit of a 4-piece with dipping sauce.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I do the Mendoza pack where I offer the reward 1 kinky version as a bonus on it. So.
Oh, very cool.
That's right there.
Very nice.
And then usually I do the where I do an OG sketch cover and I do like 5 or 10. I only take that many and I do a full color art. But this time we got Nightmare Lynch right here offering it, and it's open for 5 people. And then who's next after that? We got Drax jumping in with the Drax Gallery.
Oh, cool.
And that's limited to 5. And then we got Bill McKay on there with McKay Madness, and that's limited to 5. And then just
to be clear, so everyone knows that there's going to be a remark on this.
Yeah, it's a full color drawing. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So then there's the one I always do. So. But yeah, nice. I was like, man, let's just throw on a bunch of artists and see how people like that. And people like it really well. So.
Nice. And then you got the Take It All package.
Yeah. And so that's how many covers. I don't know.
Hey, people like covers, man.
And we got our lenticular.
Very nice.
Blank sketch cover as always.
Yep.
And then I do the sure thing where I do a ballpoint pen sketch. Where'd
it go?
You got to scroll up. It went weird.
There it is.
Yeah, where it's like a ballpoint pen sketch, you know, and for like $100. That's like limited to 20 people or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you do randoms? Like, will random people get?
Yeah,
right?
on the just the sketch cover that's $20. I
Yep.
do like 5 randoms in there.
Oh, very nice.
And Jamie Tyndall, we did an art trade back in the day, and I never came and collected on it, and then I finally said, "Hey, I'm coming to collect." so we did this cool little run, this little set right here, which is really good.
That's really nice. I like that.
Yeah,
I like Jamie's lines. He does a great job.
Yeah. So he did
very cool.
A bunch of different cool backgrounds.
Yeah.
Josh Blaylock, he was like, "Hey man, I don't know if you remember, but like you were interested in doing a cover for me. Would you still want to do one for my Kickstarter?" And I was like, "When's your Kickstarter?" His Kickstarter like launched like 3 days before mine. And I was like, let's do a connecting cover set where mine is available on your Kickstarter and yours is available on my Kickstarter. So that's what we did, and they're selling really well. So
oh, nice. Connecting covers, love that.
Yeah, and then
you can get it in a print.
Yeah,
very nice.
Then acrylic stands as always.
Yeah, nice.
And the first time ever, the 3D mouse pad.
I know someone who had those.
Nice. Do you have them yet?
No.
So if they're like mine, seriously, they are so good because actually the way that the boobs are, your wrist just kind of like gets nestled in between them. They are very lovely. Everybody get one of these.
They're ergonomical.
I have one.
This is for your safety.
One of my fans gave me one, and I like it a lot. It's really comfortable. So
nice. Then you got the body pillow cover.
Yes, the body pillow. I didn't think I was gonna do another one, but I did. So.
Do they sell well?
Yeah, they sell really well. So
nice. And then the statues you still have.
Lady Death versus.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that'll be a body pillow also.
Nice. I'm taking that comment is for the mouse pad. You're welcome.
Oh yeah, because he's the one that gave me this mouse pad as a gift. That's that was Robert. Nice. They call up.
All right, and you got the apparel.
And the apparel is just already available on our store, so they don't have to order it. They could just click on the link below the image, and they could just order it now.
Very cool.
And
then the add-ons.
Yeah.
Those
all the
are
back
all
issues.
Yeah.
Well, not all of them. Minus 3.
And then this is volume 2 right here that I'm offering.
Very nice.
And then, some stuff unlocked. My first time I'm offering the sketch card. So everybody, all the backers, they get a free sketch card. And for every 100 backers that I get, I do a sketch and I just randomly give it to somebody.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you ever personalize any of your packages? Like when you see like a name that's like, oh, this person, the same person is backed. And you ever put like a little note in there or anything?
Yeah, Nightmare does. I rarely pack anything these days, but if I do recognize a name, I'll say what's up and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, I always personalize it.
Yeah.
You got the stickers.
Yeah. Here's another Mike McComb.
Very nice. I always like seeing everyone's variation of your character.
Yeah, me too. So
cool.
These ones, I just put these up like an hour ago. It's like 6 different prints.
Very nice. Very nice. I freaking love Drax's stuff. So good.
Yeah.
So good. So this campaign's got 10 days left.
10
days left on this campaign. Will you be doing anything through backer kit or anything for people to still grab any of this stuff after the campaign's over?
Yeah, after the campaign's over, we always do a backer kit for about 3 weeks or so. And then we go to print. So, but some things are always limited, like things that I got to pre-order like in advance, like let's say like the stripper pin or the mouse pads or the body pill. I got to order those like as soon as the campaign ends. So I only order like a little bit of extra of that. And then that's so when the backer kit comes out, it's limited. Like there's only like 10 available or something, So.
Oh, nice. Nice. So what's after this campaign?
Sad Girl Psycho Baby 6. That's a lot of S sounds. Sad Girl Psycho Baby 6. But it's I'm shooting for I'm hoping the 3rd week of January. I don't know. We'll see. since this one's kind of ending a little bit late. So we'll see on that. And then, the next in line would be after Zombie Tramp 6 is, after Sad Girl 6 would be Zombie Tramp 59.
Nice.
And then Cannibal Kitty 5. And then Zombie Tramp 60. And then Zombie Tramp versus Lady Death in November. So
Zombie Tramp versus Lady Death, really?
Zombie Tramp versus Lady Death, yeah.
Wow, you've got a great lineup for 2023 there.
Yeah, you want to see my flyer?
Yes.
All right, how do I do it? I just present. I could pick which screen to present. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Go to present, pick the screen you want to show, and then I'll pop it up.
Okay, cool. Sure. Let me pull it up.
That's really cool. Is Brian Polito doing anything with that as far as
we're
his version of the campaign, or
it's my campaign, and we're just gonna be promoting it like crazy all year together and stuff like that. So that's it right here. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, that is cool.
So that will be November 3rd. Last year we were promoting it with little flyers that went to everybody's Kickstarter, and it said October 2023. But so because I think he has a campaign that comes to its end in around October, so we don't want to overlap too much. So I was like, let's get a date set in stone, and we agreed on November 3rd. So
very cool. That is awesome. You're writing it?
Yeah, I'm writing it and drawing it. It's just going to be about 60 pages.
Oh, very cool. Have you started it yet?
No.
No?
Yeah, I pitched it to Polito, and he liked it. So the next is script. So I'm gonna finish up my Sad Girl 6 script so I can get Drax started, and then I'll jump on this one and stuff. So and there's talks possibly of Drax helping me and get the book done too. So.
Oh, very cool, dude. That's awesome. Congratulations on that. That's great.
Thank you.
You heard it here, folks. Zombie Tramp Lady Death comic, November 2023. Awesome. That's fantastic. Well, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. That's awesome. Your campaign's doing great. We'll continue sharing it through our, I'll continue sharing the campaign links through all of our social media handles. And everyone out there, if you're interested in this, watching this live, that's going to watch this recorded, as of December 7th, there's 10 days left to the campaign. Check it out, back it. If the funds aren't there, always do what we love to do, which is at least share the campaign. Share it on all your social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you're doing. Spread the love of Zombie Tramp 58, and keep in touch and follow Dan and Nightmare on social media, because they're always posting some fun stuff. Their comics are a blast. They do amazing stuff, and they treat their fans right for sure.
Thank you.
Did I get that right? Are you going to PayPal me now?
Yeah.
All right. Yes. Perfect.
Anything under the doormat.
Yeah, right. Just send it in a McDonald's bag. It makes me feel legit. But anything else before you guys take off?
Anything you have to say, Nightmare?
I said it all.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you for having
guys. Thanks so much for hanging out, and let me know when the next one's rolling.
Will do.
All right. We'll see you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye. Awesome stuff. I love them.
Oh, they're so nice and they're so cute. I mean, they're like cute and goth. Isn't it just precious?
I know. And so professional too. They really their fans come first. They put out a great product. I've backed many of the campaigns, other of the Pop XP crew have as well. I mean, they're part of the family. I mean, we always have them on for stuff, and it's always great to see the campaigns that they're putting out and what they're doing. I love it.
And they're really a part of their art. Like they both are. They're a great family. They're a great couple. They're great creators. I really like his boobs. Because if you notice, a lot of times when there's a topless cover and a regular cover, it's like boobs with a shirt and boobs without a shirt. But he goes with like the top and without the top. You notice he'll do that little sag.
Oh, the adjustment. Yeah, he allows gravity. He allows
Yeah.
gravity to take effect. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking. I've actually mentioned to them last time they were on for the the past campaign, and I was like, I just have to notice, when you're drawing your women, when they're in their clothes, everything's where it should be, and when they're out of their clothes, everything is where it should be. And hey, I guess it's the attention to detail,
but it's those little things that it just like, I see what you did there. I love it. I love that shit. That's so cool.
Yes. So for the artists out there, make sure to keep note of how gravity works. Okay.
Yes.
Just keep note of gravity works. So we've got another great campaign. Now this is a cool campaign. We've had Austin Hough on previously with the first campaign he did for the Masters, and now he's got the second campaign. And what's awesome about this is he has so many legends in the industry. And tonight we have one of those legends with us that are going to talk about the campaign as well. And I'm going to pick his brain because I'm a fan of him. And I'm I might shine the spotlight. I like Austin. He's a great guy, but I got some questions for when you have a legend in the house, you gotta take advantage of the time. You know what I'm saying? So first up, let's bring on Mr. Austin Hough. Austin, how you doing?
Couldn't be better. I'm here with you guys.
Yes. Welcome back. It's been a while.
Yeah.
The first campaign did great. This campaign's doing great. Many legends. Austin, though, I want you, because this is your book, I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
I want you to do the honor of giving the introduction to our legendary guest that's going to be joining you. Can you do it?
I don't know. This is a man that needs no introduction, in my opinion. I grew up following him for decades doing Spider-Man. I think there hasn't been a year this man has been alive since maybe the early 80s that he hasn't done some version of Spider-Man in some form, comic book, poster, the newspaper daily, some form of Spider-Man in like 3 or 4 decades.
Yes.
I could only be speaking of one man, and that is the amazing Alex Saviuk.
Alex, welcome.
Wow. Thank you very much. Yeah, and I have to admit, all those decades that Austin was mentioning, I used to look over my shoulder for like the last 30 or 40 years, and I've always seen him about a half a block behind me, just following me constantly. And I'm thinking, who the hell was that guy? When I finally met him, he told me. So, it's not a problem.
That's great.
How you doing, Nile? It's great meeting you.
Nice to meet you, and really, it's an honor to have you on the show. I think you're one of the finest Spider-Man artists there ever was that has worked on that franchise, and it truly is an honor to have you on. And
I appreciate that.
I definitely know why Austin has you as one of the creators and artists on the book here. So absolutely incredible. So welcome to the both of you. And Austin, for those out there that aren't familiar with yourself and what you've been doing, please let's dive into the Masters and what this series is.
Yeah, I would love to, Nile. Thanks. The Masters is a concept that I came up with. It's a group of supervillains. They are not only master thieves, but they're all master artists. They're all inspired by my favorite artists of the 20th century, Salvador Dali, Toulouse-Lautrec, Keith Haring, Ansel Adams, and Rene Magritte. And all of their superpowers come from their art. And they get together at the behest of a criminal mastermind who isn't revealed until the final issue number 5, to pull off the art heist of the century. And along the way, a group of golden age public domain superheroes that, along with Alex and some other artists, Alan Weiss, Arvell Jones, Val Merrick, and Ron Wilson, they reimagined them to bring them into the 21st century. Mm-hmm. And it's in the tradition of the old Bob Haney, Jim Aparo, Brave and the Bold comics, where there was always a lead hero like the Batman. In this case, our case is the Black Owl. And in every chapter, he has a superhero buddy that joins him to try to defeat the bad guy, and they always lose. And then, of course, everybody comes together in the end, and hilarity ensues, I guess. I mean, that's the big battle royale at the end. And we've had the pleasure of getting the amazing Tom Grummett to page that for us. Just amazing. Tom Grummett and Doug Hazelwood are doing the pencils and inks on those 14 pages of the final battle. So very exciting series that we're doing.
Awesome. Well, let's pop up the campaign here. Let's take a look at this. I absolutely love the art. I love when you were first on the show, when you were chatting with Billy and I, and I mean, I absolutely fell in love with the concept of the book, but more importantly, it's the style of comics I love. It's like what comic books are, you know?
Right.
And,
it's what I grew up
incredible.
with. And like I continue to say this, it's my love letter to the Bronze Age of comics. You know, they say the Bronze Age is technically 1969 to 1986. Well, I was born in 1969 and I graduated high school in 1986. So it's you know, it's my era of comic books. And, you know, who better to bring back to tell my story than artists like Al Saviuk, you know?
Yeah. And we got Jimmy in the chat here, Jimmy T.
Hey, Jimmy T.
My Goomba. I'm inking Alex right now. He's the best.
Okay, how's he inking me? I don't know what I've done that he's inking. What is he inking?
I don't know. Jimmy, what are you inking? Jimmy Tornes. I think that's how you pronounce his last name.
Oh, I know. Yes, Bob Almond and the Joe Stinnett Inking Challenge had asked me to do a pencil drawing of Spider, you know, and they asked me what I'd like to do. So I said, well, how about if I just do Spider-Man with Mary Jane together, swinging over the city, more or less, just one of those, you know, nice idealistic poses. And they're sending out blue lines to about, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 dozen inkers to go ahead and ink the blue lines, and then they'll auction them off for their scholarship fund. Oh, so that's probably what Jimmy's inking right now, which is kind of cool.
That's wonderful.
Awesome. Jimmy's a good guy. I love that guy. So let's check out. So I'm gonna scroll down here into the campaign. You've got some videos up, but what I want to do is I want to bring up this awesome cover right here.
Well,
Tom Morgan. I'm so happy. I am very happy that Austin got Tom Morgan on board. Between the cover work and I saw some interior work that he's done. He has, I mean, he like myself. I mean, we both have John Romita Sr. as our, I guess, proverbial hero god from when we were, you know, looking at comics, and he's really gone 10-fold steps further than I have in terms of, geez, hold on a second. I'm sorry. In terms of imitating or at least being inspired by John's style, his the penciling, even when he inks his own material, it just looks fabulous. So yeah, I'm really excited about how this looks. Yeah, geez, when I looked recently at the list of guys that are actually participating in this, I'm thinking to myself, wow, I really need to, when people say, so who are the Bronze Age guys? I usually can remember about a half a dozen or 8 or 9. And there's a whole paragraph of guys that are contributing to this series, which is kind of neat, you know? So, but go ahead now. You said you wanted to talk about this cover, so I'm sorry I interrupted your thought. So you go right ahead.
Yeah, no, what I was saying is I love the lines of the covers here. You know, it hits me with that, like you were saying, you know, that Bronze Age, even, you know, the later Silver Age stuff, just really, it's that impactful cover, you know, where the cover's telling part of the story. I mean, I don't feel like you get that nowadays.
Yeah, that is a key thing, because I was just talking to a couple of my older buddies about that. When, you know, even when I was a kid, when you went to the store and you got to the spinner rack and you picked up a cover and there was copy on the cover and it would be like the death of Superman and he's in this glass cage and all these people are flying down and he's going, stay away from me. You know, I could blow up at any minute or something. You go, wow, what's going on? You are intrigued by the cover. And in so many instances today, you look up cover and they're just, well, between Photoshop and everything else and all the coloring and the magic that they throw in there, it's a beautiful piece of art. But I mean, you just get tired of seeing the same people just standing around looking cool.
Yeah.
You know?
The cover to me was always like you know, like you got your movie trailer, right? And the movie trailer gives you a snippet of what the movie's about. And
Right.
you know, the older comics, you know, those covers were like the trailers because
That's right.
excuse me, you said there was always a little dialogue on the cover. Typically, you know, there was action, and that's what drew you to the book because you just kind of read that snippet, and they're like, oh, I got to flip through this, and then next thing you know, you're you know going taking off the spinner rack, you're buying it, and now you're into the adventure. Definitely don't have that nowadays.
No, I mean, you could just go into any comic book shop and you'll see some great, you know, like I said, some of the art these days is unbelievably gorgeous. The way these guys can, you know, draw, and then you've got the colorists who basically paint the covers and render them. So it be, and then the artwork, that style is repeated internally. But, you know, I grew up with, you know, that whole group of guys like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko. I was 10 years old when I got introduced to Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four after having been a DC comic nut for probably about 4 years prior to that. And now all of a sudden, this one day, I went to the store and there were no new DCs. And I was with a buddy of mine, and I guess he had been reading some Marvel already, and goes, "Hey, you got to pick this guy Spider-Man up. He's really cool." And it was number 5 with Dr. Doom on the cover.
Yeah.
And I said, well, gee, you know, I really don't know anything about him. I mean, what's his deal? And he says, oh, he's a teenager. You know, he's got problems. You know, he lives with his aunt because his parents died or whatever. And, you know, he's still in high school and he's got girl problems. And I said, well, that's what kind of powers, though? Well, he's like a spider. He sticks to walls. He shoots webs. He's got, you know, he's got the strength of like 10 or 20 guys. And so I said, well, that sounds interesting. And then he goes, and then you got to get this book, The Fantastic Four. It was number 18, where they were fighting the Super Skrull. And on the cover, you know, there they are doing their thing with the Skrull. And, you know, you've got, I said, well, I don't know anything about these guys. But in the first 3 pages, as luck would have it, they describe how the Skrull is so much stronger than the Fantastic Four. Like they go, well, the thing can lift 5 tons, but the Skrull can pick up the whole, you know, generator from the planet, which weighs like 150 tons. And Mr. Fantastic can stretch 100 yards. And as a kid, 100 yards seems like forever, but hey, that's a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? From end to end. And but still, and the Skrull can wrap himself around the planet 3 times. The Torch can fly at 60 miles an hour, which now seems like nothing, but at the time 60 was a lot. But what's his face, the Skrull can fly back to the sun, from the sun back to the planet in like, you know, a couple of hours. And the Invisible Girl turns invisible. However, the Skrull can turn invisible, has an invisible force field, and he can also throw invisible bombs or something. And so I said, wow, that's in a nutshell. And I like the art. Yeah, I'm going to buy it. And I was hooked. Then all of a sudden, as a 10-year-old kid, I already had angst knowing that how am I going to get the money to buy these new comic books? Because I saw the ad in the back for Tales of Suspense, Iron Man, and Journey into Mystery with Thor, and Ant-Man, and whatever else. And then before you know it, the Avengers and, you know, the X-Men were coming out. And so, bam, I mean, as a kid, my world was set. You know, to finish your homework and then read your comics. And then start drawing and telling stories. That was kind of like how I got into it. Actually, I got into it when I was 6 and I was watching Superman on black and white TV. And having only been exposed to comic book heroes through the newspapers like The Phantom and Flash Gordon and Mandrake the Magician and Terry and the Pirates and all that other cool stuff that was in the papers, Prince Valiant. My dad brings me home a Superman comic, and for the first time I see Superman in red, yellow, and blue. And as a kid, you know, you got your primary colors. You got your one little box of crayons with 8 Crayolas in there. You know, you got red, blue, yellow, green, orange, whatever. And so I'm thinking, wow, I can draw him now and even color him in. This is so cool. And as soon as I read that through that comic book that my dad got me, I wanted to create my own comic books or comic stories at least. And that's pretty much what happened. I mean, I'd wake up on a Saturday and Sunday morning when everybody was still sleeping. I'd be at the kitchen table in our apartment, and I'd be creating my own stuff. you know, just having a blast doing it too, you know. So that's pretty much how I got started. But, you know, and all along while I was a little kid, you know, I turned around and about a half a block behind me, there was little Austin. He was like following me along and no, wait. You were born, you said you were born in 69, right?
69.
Oh yeah, geez, I was born in 52, so you weren't even around then when I was, you know, when I was doing my thing. But anyway,
Unbelievable.
Just to tailor off that really quick, since I was going to ask anyways, though. So with comics and everything, you know, you're a young kid, you're drawing all your own stuff, you got your crayons. Was it already imprinted? Like, did you just continue on like, this is what I want to do with my life?
No, I did not. I also was kind of fascinated with biology and doctors. I wanted to be a doctor when I grew up. And I said, well, you know what? I'm just going to draw, paint, whatever in my spare time. So actually, when I got through high school, still drawing and creating my own stories, I was pre-med in college. And I did that for over 2 years. And then I got sort of disenchanted with it because I was living in Long Island, and I was going to a city university where they were starting a medical illustration program. So I figured, wow, I can combine bio and I can combine art at the same time. This would be a cool career. But then after 1 year, the program fell through because the guy who was running it was offered a deanship in another school. And so I was kind of left holding the bag, so to speak, going, well, what am I going to do now? I kind of don't want to do the bio thing anymore, but I like the art. And I was playing in a band to put me through college. I was playing I was in the disco days. Cara's eyes are wide open, going, wow. Yeah, no, I took classical piano for 10 years, and I put it to use by playing chords on a keyboard, you know. So I was playing organ and singing and stuff like that from late high school through college, through art school, because I ended up going to the School of Visual Arts. And I studied with Will Eisner over there. And after I got done with that, I guess for about a year, I was sort of working on my portfolio. I put my own little fanzine together, and I just started sending it out to people. And it was that fanzine that got me into comics, because I did send one to Phil Stooling. Are you familiar with that name?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So Phil Stooling, I had printed up initially 300 of these things. They were digest size, so it's an 8.5 by 11. You fold it in half. Mm-hmm. And it was only 20 pages, and had my own creation in there, this character that I had created. And he liked it, said, hey, can you send me 500 copies? I said, sure. So I had to go back to the printer, print up a whole bunch more. I, folded them, put them together, collation and stapling and everything, because I didn't want to spend the money to get that done. And then I had this giant box of fanzines, and I'm thinking, wow, this should cost $1 million to ship. I'm going to call him up and ask him if I could drive it over, because he was about 40 minutes away. And he said, sure, come on over. So I did, and it was the first time I got into somebody's house where, here in Florida, we all had these open, tall ceilings and stuff, but up in Long Island, we had 8-foot ceilings. He had a 20-foot living room when you walked in, and then the staircase on the back wall to go up to the second story. But in those 20 feet, he had framed all this cool stuff. He had a Prince Valiant page, a Lou Fine page, all these Golden Age and Silver Age guys he had original artwork from, just lining his walls. It was jaw-dropping, okay? Wow. But at any rate, he was also one of the initial guys to do comic book conventions in New York. And it was maybe about a month or so after that meeting that I went to his convention around April, I guess it was, in Easter or somewhere around there, or May. It was May, because I went on a Saturday by myself, and there I stopped by his table, and he said, hey, I said, hey, how's my book doing? He goes, well, people are looking at it. They kind of like what they see. I said, oh, wow, that's great. Okay. And I just let him go about and doing his business. And about a half hour later, I was called back to his table over the public address system. And there was this roly-poly little man, about 5'6" or 7, with a shirt and a tie on, big smile on his face, and he's thumbing through my comic book. And Phil introduces me to some Saul Harrison, president of DC Comics. And so Saul was looking through my book, and he goes, "Hey, are you working?" I said, no, I'm not. And he goes, "How would you like to work for DC Comics?" And I said, "Wow, that sounds great." He goes, "Hey, call up on Monday, make an appointment with the art director, who was Vince Coletta at the time." And he says, "Protocol dictates that you go through him, but I'm going to let him know you're coming." And so I went in there on Wednesday and met with Paul Levitz afterwards. And I got a 1-page mystery story to take home as my first gig. And then there were a couple of other small ones, a 7-page sci-fi story and a 5-page war story, a 2-page story in Witching Hour. And it was when I got this Witching Hour story, I remember it was kind of slow moving and it wasn't really that much of a hook. So I tried to change things up. And I know that Neil Adams used to, start messing around with layouts. And I always figured, hey, as long as you place the balloons and the balloons read well, then you're going to be doing okay. However, the editor, Murray Boltonoff, hated the page layouts, just said, "Hey, I got to go show this to Vince Coletta." And he stormed out of his office, told me to stand outside, went into Vinny's office, closed the door. I'm hearing, all that typical stuff that you hear in cartoons when the doors are closed and people yelling and screaming at each other. And so the guy, he comes out storming right past me, slams the door, and I'm standing there going, wow, I didn't even get myself started and now I'm gone. And Vinny sticks his head out the office and says, "Hey, kid, come in here." And I walk in, I said, "Vinny, I'm really sorry." He goes, "Nah, nothing to apologize about. The pages look great. How would you like to draw Green Lantern?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, sure. What's going on with Mike Grell?" "Don't worry about Mike. He's busy." I told Julie that you would be great for doing Green Lantern. So I said, "Fantastic." So I went in to meet Julie Schwartz, and Vinny goes, "Julie, this is that kid I was telling you about. He's better than Gil Kane." I said, "Whoa, no, please don't put the pressure on me like that. That's not fair." And Julie goes, "So what makes you think you can draw Green Lantern?" I said, "Well, I'm a big Gil Kane fan. I love the character, etc. Been reading him since I'm a little kid." He goes, "Well, draw me a couple of sample pages of how you would draw the character in whatever he does, constructs, flying, the whole bit, and come back, when you're done." So I did that. Came back a couple of days later, and I handed it to him, and he goes, "Well, go sit in the bullpen, have some coffee. I'll look these over. I'll send for you when I'm done." So about 15 minutes later, somebody sticks their head in the bullpen and says, "Hey, Alex, Julie wants to see you." So I walk in, and Julie goes, "Okay, so here's your first script, and it's by Denny O'Neil and yada, yada." And he's explaining to me the premise of the story, and I go, "Wow, this is so cool. I'm going home with a Denny O'Neil script." Wow. And I'll tell you what, Denny was such a great writer. He got his point across. He was, very succinct in his dialogue, left you a lot of room to draw. Whereas when you draw these small stories that some people get forced to write, and they go, "Okay, so listen, here's a 7-page sci-fi story that you're going to write." And the writer goes, "Yeah, but I think I'm going to need 12 pages to get my point across." They'll say, "Well, do it in 7. So yeah, they do it in 7, and they give you 7-panel pages with tons of dialogue, and they want all this stuff going on. Well, you got 17 or 18 pages with Denny O'Neil, and you just had all this room to move and do cool things and shine and have some big panels in there. And it was really a blast working on that stuff. And eventually from there, I went also to do The Flash that Ross Andrew was editing. So that was a blast because I got to work with one of my heroes and learn from him at the same time. So, case in point, there was one time there was a car chase, in a 2-page car chase, and I walk in and he's showing me the new script and he goes, "Oh, by the way, I really like this car chase scene." And so I took it upon myself just to do thumbnails. If you like them, you can use them, but if not, if you want to do it your way, that's cool too. So I said, "No, this is fine. This is great. I'll take it home." So that was the next day was an easy day's work because all the layouts were done. And it was done the way Ross would have wanted to have me draw it anyway, so it worked out great. And then after that, I ended up going to Superman stuff with Julie Schwartz again and staying with him for all the way up until early 1986, '86, but in late '85, all the people that were writing and drawing Superman got invited to go out to a dinner by the higher ups at DC, and they wanted a lunch. And so we're sitting there having this nice lunch, and then they said, okay, so the reason why we collected all of you was we wanted to tell you that the sales on Superman are really hideous, and we need to change the creative teams just to spark some new blood into the character, etc. But don't worry, you guys are all going to have work. So at any rate, I was doing stuff on Superman still until my last job when I turned it in early February of '86. And Julie said, hey, I got one story left. I got to give it to Kurt Swan. Go see what they have for you. So I went to the freelance office, and they said, gee, we're sorry, we got nothing, but stick by the phone. You know, we'll get to you as soon as we can. Now, I'm married. I got a kid. You know, I'm living in an apartment. I'm living paycheck to paycheck like most artists were doing in those days. And so fortunately for me, I happened to have gone to high school with John Romita's kids. So I knew John Jr., I knew his older brother, I knew his older brother first, and we were in the same kind of a honor society club together in high school. And over time, he saw, you know, that I like to draw, and he goes, hey, you know, my father's John Romita. He draws Spider-Man. I said, yeah, I know. He goes, well, would you like to meet him? I said, sure. So I ended up going to see him, and I'm not saying he took me under his wing or anything, but gosh, as a 17-year-old kid going into John Romita's studio office, seeing a page of the Fantastic Four in pencil on his drawing board and a page of Amazing Spider-Man in pencil by Gil Kane that he's inking was kind of like, you know, meeting your gods, more or less. All right. And, you know, it was just always telling me, well, comics is tough. You know, you really got to be passionate about it because it's long hours. And I said, yeah, I'm cool. No problem. I can do it. And eventually, so what happened was, since I had known John, and even when I had my success at DC, he was right there in my corner. And when the stuff ended up sort of being pulled out from under me with Superman, I immediately called John up and I said, hey, I'm not doing Superman anymore. Do you have anything at Marvel that I could possibly do? And he said, yeah, come on over. We need fill-ins all the time. Our guys are so late that you could probably make a living just doing fill-ins. So I walked over across town with my Xeroxes from my last job, and I left it with him. And this was a Tuesday. And I remember on Thursday, I got a phone call from this editor named Mike Higgins, who was working on Jim Shooter's New Universe books. But he was also editing Iron Man. They needed an Iron Man fill-in. So I went in, they gave me the fill-in, and after that, they just kept me busy doing covers and special projects, and I guess trying to find a place for me to kind of fit in and, you know, get something steady. And about 3 weeks of that, and then DC calls me up and they told me that, oh, we have a great project for you. It's being written by Steve Gerber. And I said, oh, really? Well, what is it? Oh, well, it's Jonah Hex in a post-apocalyptic future. And I said, oh, really? Jonah Hex? Now you're going to throw him into like the year 2555 or something like that? And I said, well, gee, to be honest with you, it sounds like fun, but I'm working for Marvel and I can't do 2 books a month. I mean, I'd be shortchanging you, me, Marvel. I said, I got to stick with what I got. Oh, but we think you'd be so good on this. They're trying to really pitch me this particular project to the point where the following day, Steve Gerber calls me up and he goes, hey, they told me you'd be really interested in doing this. I said, no, I said it sounded interesting, but I don't have the time. I don't want to cheat you and I don't want to cheat me. So we kind of left it at that, and that was it. And then at Marvel, things were going well. And Mike Higgins at one point said, hey, listen, I've got another fill-in on Starbrand. John Romita Jr. was doing the art, but he had something else to do. And he says, but it's being written by Jim Shooter, and I don't know if you want to, you know, I'm just warning you. I said, why? He says, well, Jim's really tough on people, okay? I mean, he could, you know, he can really kind of be harsh with the artists and all that stuff. I said, I've been doing this at the time for like 10 years, and I kind of know what I'm doing. So, hey, I treated it as a commercial art business. I wasn't, you know, a Michelangelo in the comic book world. We have to meet, if you got to meet deadlines, it's commercial art. Okay, some of these guys, they miss their deadlines because, you know, they're having their mental, emotional moments. agonizing about how to draw this stuff. It's commercial art. You be creative and you get it done. So I met with Jim. He talked to me about his plot, which was written like a short story, mind you. And he says, hey, when you go through it, do your thumbnails, bring them in, we'll talk them over. Usually on the first read, first pass, the artist will do 27, 28 pages. It's only a 22-page story. So we'll weed out the stuff and we'll make it, we'll do a good job with it. I said, okay. As it turned out, on my first read, it was 22 pages. I did the thumbnails, brought him in. He really enjoyed them, liked them to the point where he said, hey, we can actually go 24 pages because I want to expand this scene. And he just calls up, he just gets on the phone. He goes, calls up the, I guess the ad guy, and he goes, hey, this is Shooter. I need 2 more pages on issue 3. Okay, so just cut this ad and cut that ad. Okay, and he hangs up. And I ended up doing that job. And when I turned it in, he wasn't there. But when I got back home, my wife says, hey, Shooter's office called you. You need to call them back. So I did. And they go, hey, Jim really liked what you did. And he gave me a big raise right off the bat. He goes, because we want to keep you here at Marvel. And I said, wow. Okay, well, thanks very much. And that's pretty much it. My, after that, filling in on Spider-Man and eventually doing Web of Spider-Man, Spider-Man Adventures. Then from there, working on the Spider-Man newspaper strip for 22 years with Stan Lee. Mm-hmm. And since then, I've done variant covers for Marvel to the point where I can say, yeah, I've been doing Spider-Man every year since 1987. So as long as I do one Spider-Man job every year, my run will remain unbroken. So as it is right now, I'm working on a variant cover for them where the inks aren't due until January 6th. So that means I'm going into 2023 and the string will remain unbroken. So, yeah. So, but Marvel has been dipping into this NFT stuff with this company called Vivi. So I've been doing a lot of these Vivi variants for them. And, it pays the same. And it's still, basically it is a printed piece if you call those files, those NFT drops printed. But the thing is that I got a piece of original artwork to sell afterwards. So I'm not complaining.
Oh, that's a good deal. That's a good deal. Now, and then, so you're working on all that. And then how do you get involved with Austin here working on crowdfunding?
I happened to be in the Midwest at a convention. I don't remember which one it was. If it was Chicago or Detroit or some.
I followed you from Cincinnati to Milwaukee to Chicago.
Well, it was in one of those cities that I met Austin, and he gave me the pitch, explained to me exactly what was going on, and it sounded like fun. And again, at this particular point in my career, I call myself semi-retired because I don't have a monthly book going. I'm doing variant covers, lots of commissions, conventions, and the semi-retired part comes in because I really try to adhere to the policy of not working after dinner. Because when you're a freelancer, you're working like 24/7. So after dinner, after I eat my wife's lovely dinner, we just kind of hang out, watch some TV. I mean, with all Netflix and Prime and everything else, there's just too much not to be able to sit down and watch. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And what time is dinner time, Alex? 3:30.
Dinner time is usually at 7 o'clock, 7:15. We eat kind of late. And then while my wife is, finishing up in the kitchen and whatever, I'm just maybe checking some emails and whatnot. And by about 8 o'clock, we sit down and start watching television.
Nice. So let's get into the campaign, Austin. What do we got with this campaign here, this go around?
Well, we've got 2 issues. It took us longer than expected to get issue 1 finished, printed, and out. And while we were going through some problems with that, we were getting, issues 2, 3, 4, and 5 pretty much all done. So I thought, you know what, let's put 2 issues together for the second Kickstarter. We'll put issues 4 and 5 together for the third Kickstarter. We'll get these out to the people. And, especially on issue number 2, I want to bring 2 names to everybody's attention. One is Tom Morgan, who Alex spoke very highly of. Tom jumped in when I really needed him. We actually had a couple of artists who were unable to complete what they promised to do. They had some extenuating circumstances. It's one of those things where stuff happens. So we had to find replacements. I pitched Morgan, hey man, would you like to do a cover? Would you like to recreate some Universal monster type golden age public domain villains from back in the 40s? And you know what? He hadn't done interior pages in a comic book in over 20 years. And he jumped at the chance. He's been working for Disney for quite some time. And he loved it. And I'm telling you, man, he jumped in with both feet. And the pages that he's done, the cover that he did, which you were admiring and Alex was talking about, I mean, what he was a total MVP on this project, along with the guy whose work we're looking at right now, and that's Greg LaRocque. Greg LaRocque.
Yeah, that's a beautiful page right there, too. That last panel is a knockout.
Yeah. So Greg came to my attention through Joe Rubenstein, who inked a bunch of his pages as well in this issue number 2. But we had a second artist. So the two main artists for issues number 2 had to bow out. And I called up Greg through Joe Rubenstein, and Greg was like, sure. And Greg, man, I'm telling you, he met and exceeded every expectation that I had. He exceeded every deadline. He got involved in the coloring process, just everything. So he did about 19 interior pages, half of which were inked by Al Milgram. The other half were inked by Joe Rubenstein. And they came out spectacularly well. But those are my two MVPs on this Kickstarter, man, Greg LaRocque and Tom Morgan. I don't know what I would do without those two guys, because I was really put into a bind. It was like whatever wrong could happen happened with those artists. And, there's no animosity. It's stuff happens. Alex, you know what that's like.
Oh, yeah. I just finished up my, I guess, third issue commitment with the story I was working on, because I had hand surgery and I was having some problems with that in terms of the rehab. Needed injections in the other hand. I mean, don't get old. I mean, hey, it's this buddy of mine that I hate. His first name is Arthur and his last name is Itis. Okay, and that guy really blows dead dogs. I'll tell you that right now.
But again, I love what's done with the covers, right? You've got some we got a couple bubbles here. We got a little dialogue. Again, it's just that snippet of what you're going to get in the book.
That's a Ron Wilson, Joe Rubenstein special right there.
Yeah, it looks great.
And Ron Wilson, man, for my money as a kid, I didn't know what artist was who. I saw Spider-Man. I saw, okay, that's Spider-Man. I didn't know if it was Romita or Andrew or Saviuk, right? And I go back now as an adult and I look at the stuff Ron Wilson did, and I call him the king of covers. It was like in the 70s, he was drawing every cover for every issue of everything every month. That was his thing. And for my money, Ron Wilson, and again, this is just me, my personal preference, I look back at the stuff that I loved the most. Ron Wilson was doing 50% of it. For me, he's on my Mount Rushmore of comic book artists. This cover, this is an awesome cover. This is one of the first covers I commissioned. So this is the character that Alex focused on in the issue number 3 in his chapter. That's called Graffiti. He is inspired by the late artist Keith Haring, who is most known for doing art in subways. And, they called it graffiti art in New York back in the day, right? The 80s. And I said, you know what? I'm going to create a character inspired by Keith Haring. I'm going to call him Graffiti. And I'm going to make him look just like he looked back in a photo shoot he did with Annie Leibovitz of Rolling Stone magazine. He had painted this room at his studio black and white, and she convinced him to get naked and paint his body and camouflage himself in the room. So that picture had stuck with me for, 30 or 40 years. So I made this character, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool? I had this cover of an ISIS comic book that Mike Vosberg did back in like 1977, 78. I said, wouldn't it be cool if I could replace Isis, who's chained down in this room, getting, you know, attacked by a giant snake, with my Black Owl character, and take her villain who was conjuring up this snake and change him into Graffiti. And I called Mike Vosberg. I got his number through, I think it was Alan Weiss. And Mike was onto it. He's like, this is great. I'll do it. And boom, here it is. And I think it was ISIS number 7 in 1970. It was right at the height of the old ISIS TV show with Shazam, with Captain Marvel. It's
nice.
Brilliantly done. And Mike and I had such a good time working together. We're actually working on another series of comic books that we hope that are going to come out next spring.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's in the spirit of the old Twilight Zone TV show. It's going to be an anthology series with a narrator at the beginning and at the end, and in the middle it's going to be a Twilight Zone-esque type of a story.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. And we got one of Alex's pages here.
Yep, absolutely. I mean,
Excellent.
that's Al being inked by Al. So Alex
Al by
Saviuk
Al.
and Al Milgram.
There you go.
Yeah, what a team.
Fantastic
You know what?
combo.
Alex, did you ever work with Milgram before in terms of penciling and inking?
Yeah, we did. Al inked. He kind of filled in here and there for some inkers on Web of Spider-Man, maybe like somewhere between 110 and 115.
Okay.
I think he did a half an issue, and then maybe a third of an issue here and there. And then he also did a full issue when I was doing Spider-Man Adventures in that particular animated style.
Right.
So, you know, he got to do, I think, issue number 3. So, yeah, we've done stuff together.
Yeah, I think Milgram's inks really complement Alex's pencils.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I put them both together because, you know, as I met Alex, you know, going to conventions and whatnot, I kind of met Milgram the same way. And, you know, I put guys together who I knew had worked before, or, you know, guys that I really wanted to see work together. Like I really wanted to see, you know, Ron Wilson and Joe Rubenstein work together, you know? So Kerry Gamble and Joe Rubenstein was another team that I wanted to see work together.
Yeah, no, it's great pairing, and I like the model sheets and stuff. You know, I see you got a Bart Sears here.
Yeah, that's a Bart Sears tribute to himself with Justice League Europe #1.
Yeah, yep.
It's always great when you can get the original artist to tribute their own work.
Yeah. Oh, it looks great. The Stephen Butler. Now that was part of the first campaign. That was a cover, right?
That's the cover to issue #1. We didn't have that available for original art for sale or for, you know, reward in that original Kickstarter, so we put it on this one.
Mm-hmm. Got the Ron Wilson cover. Very nice. Joe Staton.
Yeah, now here comes the trifecta of covers. We've got Joe Staton, Mike Grell, and Ramona Fraden. Ramona Fraden doing a tribute to her own Plastic Man cover. And there's Mike Grell. There's Mike Grell. He and Joe Staton both took Golden Age covers of the Black Owl and Airman and recreated them, modernized them with our reimagined superheroes. And they just did a spectacular job. So the original art is available, plus all of the comics, along with, we made those into 11 by 17 posters as add-ons that you can get any of the posters as well in full color.
Awesome. And then you can also get the add-ons now. So if there's other issues and stuff you want.
I made sure that everything we had available in Kickstarter #1 is available again, just in case somebody missed an issue or they missed a poster. A couple of our cool add-ons, we did a Ben Cooper style Halloween mask of the Black Owl.
That's awesome. I love that.
You know what's incredible about Austin is as these campaigns keep going on, I see more and more marketing stuff coming up that I'm going, God, how does he even think about this stuff? But he just keeps on keeping on. I'll tell you, it's incredible.
Scroll back a little bit. I want to show you the jigsaw puzzle.
Right there.
Who created the jigsaw puzzle?
So the funny thing, the story behind this is if you look at that, that's the cover that Tom Morgan did.
Yes. Okay.
Well, there was a Spider-Man cover that this is a tribute to. It wasn't really a Spider-Man cover. It was a Spider-Man jigsaw puzzle by Whitman.
Oh.
And Alex, I don't know if you remember the email thread we had going around. We couldn't figure out who the artist was.
Yes.
I kept saying it was Ross Andrew, and somebody said John Romita, and somebody said somebody else. Well, Tom Morgan chimes in and says, "No way, man, that's Ron Wilson." And of course, Ron Wilson is in the email thread, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that is mine. I remember doing that." It was like 1978.
Okay.
So that's a funny story. We constantly have funny stories that happen. Like, who did this? Oh, wait a second, I did that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You do so much work, you almost forget what you've done. You know, it's that's funny.
Yeah. So here's the creme de la creme for me on this Kickstarter. Plymo the Rubber Man, who is the character that Alex took on as a hero in his chapter and reinvented him, recreated him. Plymo was only in one comic book back in 1942. I think it was called CMO Comics or something. So he had like 6 pages, maybe 8. That was it. He was never seen again. And
Real? Oh, I didn't even know that.
never known again. That's why, Alex had a lot of room to create this guy and reimagine him because he really didn't have a lot of history. So I'm thinking, what's the coolest thing I can do with a stretchy character, but I can make him into a Stretch Armstrong. So I'm offering a Stretch Plymo. I've got all of the stretch bodies manufactured. I'm working on getting the heads done and the bodysuit. So if you want a Stretch Plymo in your collection, boom, there he is.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you have do you have like the prototype done?
I do.
Oh, you got to share an image of that.
I need to listen, man, I've been so busy trying to get everything going. It'll be up, I promise.
Wow.
You know what would be really cool? I'm sure, Nile, you're aware of those direct. I don't know if it's like the statues that are coming out at GameStop. They're like $55.
Yeah.
I mean, 3D printing. They look fantastic. Okay, they're really lightweight and all. I mean, that's got to be Austin's next thing. He's got to start making those, $55 statues that you can buy at GameStop of all these heroes. That would be so cool.
It's funny that Alex says that because Alex is a notorious Bowen bust and statue collector.
Okay.
I think Alex has an ulterior motive.
Yeah, right.
So the funny thing, I love this Plymo character that Alex recreated, and what I did is for my Mego style action figures, I'm giving him 3 different heads: a long head, a traditional head, and then one that looks like a corkscrew.
I love it.
Hey, if you push down at the corkscrew head, does it bounce back up?
It is a spring, yes. No, it's
not.
Nice.
I love it.
No, it's not.
Oh,
I couldn't do it. That's 3D.
Oh, you couldn't do it. Oh, okay.
I couldn't do it. I wish I could.
How many of the actions, the figure sets are there?
There's many as you want. I mean,
oh, nice.
I custom make those. That's how I got involved in this whole comic book thing is, I originally created the villains to make as action figures. I'm a very prolific Mego action figure customizer. Okay. I founded the Custom Mego Hall of Fame on Facebook. Mm-hmm. I've been doing this for 25 years. I've got close to 700 different custom action figures I've made. And I was running out of characters that I wanted to create. So I started creating my own.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
I realized after I created these action figures of the Masters that if I showed them on the internet, nobody would know who the hell they were except for me. Yeah. People would be like, "Wow, Austin, those are really cool. You really outdid yourself. Now, who the hell are those guys?" So the next thing I knew, I was writing backstories, origin stories. And the next thing I knew, I was like, "Hey, I have a great idea for a comic book." Next thing I knew, I was writing a comic book, and here we are today.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like a whole little ecosystem of your universe.
Yeah. Speaking of comic books, the gentleman on the show with us tonight, Mr. Saviuk, he finished his final 5 pages of issue number 3. If you'd like to see them, I think he has them handy, don't you, Alex?
I do.
Oh, let's take a look at those.
All of them are okay to show, Alex, except the portrait page, the final.
Okay. Well, here's the first. Oh, I used that invisible pencil that No, wait. Okay. Oh, here we go.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Right.
Wow.
So that's Plymo the Rubber Man being attacked by graffiti's snakes, and Black Owl is being attacked by him as well.
Wow. That's incredible, Alex.
Oh, thank you. Here we have. Oh, this is this page wasn't written like this by Austin, but somehow when I got into the storytelling, I expanded it into into a page that ends up. Al Milgram's gonna hate me. It's got 11 panels. Okay.
He's gonna hate you.
Oh,
Al's
wow.
probably watching this tonight. He's already texting me. Holy cow! Wait a second here.
He did 2 pages worth in one. What the heck's wrong with him?
He's like, Alex Saviuk.
Yeah, but it works so well. It works so well.
Thanks.
I just got a text from Milgram. It says Alex Saviuk is dead to me.
Wait, but tell him, listen, the next page only has 5 panels, and they're close-ups.
I just got another text from Milgram. He says, Alex is back in my good graces.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's spectacular work.
Okay, let's see. One more to finish it up again. Yeah, we got some big panels in here.
Oh, look at that. It's gorgeous.
How clean that is.
I
Those
know.
pencils are super tight. Like, do you even need an inker?
I know, right? You don't even need an inker.
Oh, you know what? It's funny because I've always thought myself to be a relatively tight pencil, and I think I am relatively tight. But boy, in the last couple of decades, I've seen artwork from some of these younger guys that is so tight that the inkers really have nothing else to do except basically, well, yeah, trace over the lines and make it look pretty. Okay. And I remember speaking with this one inker, who I won't mention his name, but he's very, 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 very good inker. And he was doing work on this new penciler, and he showed me, he said, well, here's a couple of pages from the first issue I did, and then here are the pages now of the second one. I said, yeah, I can kind of tell there's a difference. He goes, yeah, because on the first one, I kind of put myself into it a little bit more, and then the penciler, who I guess must have been one of these hotshot newbies, complained to the editor that the inker was overwhelming his vision. So now he had to basically ink everything exactly as the penciler put it down. And so he goes, yeah, so now it's kind of boring for me, but it's still a gig. I got to do it. I said, no, I understand. Just quickly, same thing kind of happened to me when I was first working with Joe Sinnott on the Spider-Man newspaper strip. And I finally got to talk to him after a couple of months because I had to ask him a question about something. I forget what it was. But I had him on the phone, and I said, hey, Joe, am I giving you enough information? I mean, do the pencil's tight enough? He goes, Alex, actually, he says, you're kind of handcuffing me. I said, what do you mean? He says, your pencils are so tight. I feel like I'm obligated to ink everything that you put down there. And I feel like, maybe you could loosen up so I can have some more fun. I said, oh, so you want me to give you breakdowns? And he says, yeah, I like to spot blacks. You don't have to connect all the lines. Just loosen up so that I have more to do. I said, okay, you got it. So, I mean, I enjoy working with inkers who like to put their personalities into the work. I've always liked that collaboration, when you think about growing up, as, Austin said, hey, certain guys, Greg LaRocque has been inked by Rubenstein. He's been inked by a host of other guys, just like I have. And every time somebody else inks your work, it always looks a little bit different. People are always going to say, oh, I can see you under there. I said, yeah, I know, but it still looks a little bit different. But that's cool, as long as it looks good,
Yeah.
So-
I want to bring up one thing. The first time Alex and I met was in Cincinnati, and it was a slow show, and it was great for me because Alex gave me so much of his time. And another one of the artists that has worked with us, who's got done one of the 2 covers for issue 5, Daryl Banks, same way, gave me so much time at that show. And Alex, to this day, has said the quote that has stuck with me, and I don't think it'll ever go away. I think it's the greatest quote I've ever heard, the greatest compliment one artist can give another. He was describing Joe Sinnott's inks, and he said, and I'll never forget this, he's like, Joe Sinnott inks with liquid gold.
Yeah.
And it was the most wonderful compliment I think I ever heard one artist give another. And it has just stuck with me ever since.
You know, when you said there was one quote from me that has stuck with you, I thought you were going to say, Alex said, get the fame, just give me the money.
Austin, pay me in advance.
It makes you get your royalty cut.
You know what? It's funny. It's funny because, you know, when you introduced me as legendary, and I keep hearing this legendary stuff, and I always think to myself, you know, when you talk to the current editors out there, yeah, they will say, oh yeah, Alex is a legend, but well, we don't want him to do any work for us because, you know, his stuff is like too old school. We like, you know, the new flavor of the week. And quite honestly, it's, you know, when I see about there's new processes out there, from what I understand, now when you accept a job, you have to show the editor thumbnails before you go ahead and finish penciling. And when I think about that, I say, well, why do you have to? Probably because you can't tell a story worth a damn, and they got to make sure that you're hitting all the story points before you're going to go ahead and tighten up the pencils. So, and that's slowing down the process because you've got a month, and if you have to wait a couple of days sometimes for the script, maybe I always used to hate when they give you a half a script. Okay, they didn't give you exactly what it is that you needed to draw. And then if you had to do thumbnails, not that I ever did, but if you had to do that, and then they take a week to get back to you, now you've got like 10 days to draw 22 pages. And, you know, who's in the mood? Even when I was younger at my peak, I didn't want to have to get pressured like that. That's just a lot of work, you know?
Yeah.
This should not be work. See, what we're doing, we are telling stories. We are in comic books. This is not, we are blessed that we're not working for a living. We're doing what we enjoy. We're having fun with it. We're still reliving our childhood. So as soon as you give me deadlines and you're pushing me to stay up till 3 a.m, then it becomes work. And I've been there and done that. I think every comic book artist and writer has been there and done that, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, just real quick, I just want to let everybody know my 3 all-time favorite Spider-Man artists. Number 1 for me, when I go back and I look at what I collected and what I really enjoy, number 1 is Ross Andru. I think he gets he gets less credit than Alex Saviuk, in my opinion, okay? And I liked Ross Andru so much, I made a character and put him in issue number 3 named Ross.
Oh.
And he's the short order cook at Ross's Diner. He owns Ross's Diner, and Ron Wilson had the pleasure of drawing him. So that's coming up in issue number 3.
Oh, cool.
Second, of course, is John Sr. And then third is the guy who's on this podcast right now with us, is Al Saviuk. I mean,
wow.
The body of work that Alex has done on, you know, in everything, but Spider-Man specifically, drawing some kind of, you know, professional Spider-Man comic book or newspaper strip or anything for 35 years is just, what an achievement that is. And yeah. I'm so happy that Alex took me up on my offer to come on board. I'm so proud to have him. He has done nothing but amazing work. And I just want to thank him personally for being part of this.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, and the campaign looks great, Austin. I mean, I just love the whole nostalgic feel of it. The add-ons, the T-shirts, the Mego style figures. I mean, it's definitely it's such a great package of stuff for backers out there, and it's awesome that you're putting this together. It's unique. You know, there's a lot of campaigns out there. Yours is definitely unique in that sense that it really captures, to me, what comic books are and what fandom is, and you know, the things that we just all loved growing up. That unfortunately, you know, time has kind of pushed to the side for new methods. But again, absolutely great campaign, great product. Love what you're doing. And everyone out there, please, you know, check out the campaign. If you love comics, if you love the Bronze Age, even the Silver Age and stuff of that nature, I mean, this is taking you back there. It is absolutely brilliant stuff that they're putting together. So back this campaign. If you like it, you love it. If the money's tight, you know, the always you can do is just share it. Share it on your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, any social media that you're doing. Or even if you're another YouTuber out there looking for a great guest, reach out to Austin. You can find him on all social media platforms. And again, I want to thank you, Austin. I want to thank you, Alex, for taking the time and chatting with us. It's been an honor to talk to you, guys. It's been an honor to have you on and chat with you, Alex. We've met at conventions and, you know, and passing and stuff, but it's great to actually take time to sit and talk and to hear your story.
It was my pleasure. I was when Austin told me about this. I mean, he had asked me a couple of times, but I was busy with other things, and so when this came up, I jumped at the chance. I figured, yeah, let's do it. Should be a lie. I always have a good time at these things. So yeah. Thank you for taking me away from my television shows. So that was, which is good because you know. As I said, I'm semi-retired. I know people who are fully retired, and I asked them, what are you going to do now? Oh, man, I'm going to watch movies. I'm going to read books. I'm going to relax. Hey, you know what? After a while, you do those three things every single day, you got ants in your pants. If you're a normal guy, you got to get out and you got to freaking do something, okay? I've known a bunch of people that end up going back to work part-time because, A, they're driving their spouse is crazy, and B, they're going nuts, waking up saying, well, what the hell am I going to do after breakfast? You know, seriously.
Yeah.
You know,
Alex, what are you and Mrs. Saviuk watching on TV right now?
Actually, we started watching The Crown.
Oh, I heard that's great.
Yeah, it is very good. A little disconcerting because it's 6 seasons, and after 2 seasons, they changed actors because they said, oh, now they're getting older.
Yeah.
And yet, so you had Claire Foy and Matt Smith playing Prince Philip and the Queen in the first 2 seasons, and then all of a sudden now you have Olivia Colman, who is a fabulous actor, but, you know, she's 40, I think she's 45 or 48, and she's not, and when she first starts, Queen Elizabeth is only in her late 30s, so they could have had Claire Foy stick around for another season. But when you talk to the actors themselves, they said, hey, listen, as an actor, one of the things that you always kind of hate to hear is that, oh, yeah, well, we're going to lock you up now for like the next 8 years. You know, they don't want to be stuck, you know, they just want to keep reaching out, getting creative, doing more and more characters and stuff. So we're on season 3 now. We're getting into it. The story is interesting. What I find also interesting and at the same time a bit disconcerting is the fact that I completely thought that this series was based on fact. And the key word here is based on. It is based on fact, but then they go ahead and they get very colorful with certain scenes, certain characters that if you read up on it and check up on it on Google, you find out, oh, this part never really happened. This didn't happen. That guy didn't do it from this or that. So they embellish, you know, just for the sake of drama, which then makes you want to go ahead and do some fact checking because you're dealing with the lives of real people.
Yeah,
and,
you know, that was the same way with that Jeffrey Dahmer series, that 10-part docudrama series that was on Netflix, I think.
Okay.
It was interesting because there were a ton of things that, and remember, I grew up in Chicago, so I'm an hour from Milwaukee. So when this was going on, I was in my early 20s. I mean, this was just huge around here.
Oh, yeah.
Because about maybe 13 years earlier, we went through the whole John Wayne Gacy thing. Which was only 20 minutes from where I grew up. So we've got Gacy, we've got Dahmer, and I'm watching this series, and it's going along, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I think I remember that. And I'm thinking, wait a second, I don't remember that. And I started doing fact checking on the Jeffrey Dahmer series. And all of this stuff, it's like they took like real people and they combined them together into one character. The woman who was living next door to him with all the smells and everything, she wasn't really a human being. She lived across the street. They did all kinds of things to make it more dramatic. And I was looking at a buddy of mine we were out at lunch, and I go, you know what, dude, you're watching this Jeffrey Dahmer thing, right? And he's like, yeah. And I said, well, they're dramatizing the whole thing. And I said, the most dramatic event in our life, okay? This dude eating other people. How much more dramatic do they have to make this show? It's the most dramatic.
They have to make it 10 episodes worth.
Yeah, 10 episodes. Wow.
Yeah.
It's the most real life drama we've ever experienced. I mean, you can't get more dramatic than some dude like trying to drill holes in people's head and pour acid in a brain.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Right, Cara? You know.
Well, you know what, though? I'm really enjoying some of these things. So, Alex, you were talking about you guys are watching The Crown. If you get a chance, watch The Great, because it's about Catherine the Great in Russia. And many of the events are true, but many are very much bullshit.
Okay.
You're surprised which ones are which. Now, if you want something really fun on that, the Weird Al movie.
Oh, that was brilliant.
Wasn't it?
That was brilliant.
Like, so floored. I was like, they went balls to the wall.
That's one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen. I mean, when you think about it, it makes so much sense. We're going to make a parody of the guy who makes parody.
Yes.
It was so brilliant. Good. It was unbelievable. One of the best films I've ever seen.
Absolutely. So
two other things that I'm watching right now. I just finished watching Love, Death, and Robots. Anybody catch that at all?
I thought you were going to say The Love Boat.
I mean, 10-minute shorts, every style completely different, under the wall. Some of the stories ended up okay. Some of them were like reading Creepy and Eerie from years past where, it doesn't end up where like you think it's going to end up and you go, oh no, what happened?
Love, Death, and Robots?
Oh, yes, it's anime. It's 3 seasons. There must be about 19 or 20 episodes, and they're all like 8 to 10-minute cartoons or animations, if you will.
Yeah.
I don't know how
on Netflix.
I'm going to go check it out right now.
Yeah, and the other thing that has there's a lot of action going on in some of those things, but then if you want a real slow burn, then try to watch 1899.
Yeah.
We're trying. Yeah. We're trying.
It is a slow burn.
Trying.
Oh man, it is
I gave up on it. I'm on Warrior Nun now.
Warrior Nun.
I just put Ben Dunn on, who created Warrior Nun.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he's also one of the founders of Antarctic Press. And he created Warrior Nun. He sold the rights. So really he doesn't have too much involvement in the adaptation for Netflix, but man, is that some great action. I love it.
It's oddly enough, the girl who plays the lead character, that's the new girlfriend for Chris Evans, formerly Captain America.
Yeah.
He's like 40 and she's 25, I think,
Yeah,
and looks like she's 18.
Maybe he's got a type. Who knows?
Did any of you see Arcane? I mean, it's been out for about a year or two.
No, I haven't.
Yes. That's the one with Jinx.
Yes.
Yes, and that's the damn it. What's the game that's from? It's from a game, and I cannot with Misfortune and Jinx and all those guys.
Did you see that, Austin?
No, I did not see Arcane. What do you mean, like a game, like a board game, like Clue or something?
No, it's a video game. It's based on a video game.
I'm a board game guy. I don't know video games.
Yeah, but the animation, the sets, the computer, the graphics are completely mind-blowing. It's just beautifully done.
It's all CGI animation, right?
Yeah, all CGI animation. But when you look at it, just like when you look at the the animations in Love, Death, and Robots, on a lot of those, you go, well, there was so much motion capture being done with this stuff. Why didn't they just make a real live action thing out of it? But I guess if it was real live action, they'd be doing the actors and green screens anyway, because you can't, here to just integrate everything. But
Legends is the game that Arcane is from.
Arcane Legends, yeah. I just pulled up some images. Wow, this looks amazing.
And it's about Jinx and about how she became who she was. It's very sad. It's very sad, beautifully done. The art's gorgeous. And they really dug into some deep stuff. Alex, you're watching some cool stuff. So listen to him on the Love, Death, and Robots. Okay, the cats. The cats was amazing. Do you remember that one, that episode?
The cats?
The cats and the robots. Yeah.
Right.
And then VacuBot. Those little vacuum robots?
Yes.
It was so good. It was amazing. And you're like watching this and you're going, I can relate to this. I know what this is like when you're calling tech support.
Yeah, some of the stories were a little bit really way out there. The last one in the series where the girl was coming out of the water, if you remember that one, she was in the pond, some like Indian guys and whatever, and I'm thinking, what is the point of this whole story? And I watched the whole thing and I'm thinking, okay. I just got my brother started on it, and I said, hey, stylistically some of them might not turn you on, but give it a shot. And every episode, every animation is different. Every story is different.
Like you said, they're like 12 minutes. They're really short. Each scene is short.
Right.
Have you guys seen Chris Pratt's new show? What is that? The Terminal List?
I have not seen it yet.
No, I have not. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen
things from people. All my kids were just texting me today. They're all scattered all over the country, all three of them. And they're like, oh, yeah, Dad, you got to watch Terminal List. And I'm like, I started episode 1, but kind of like you, Nile, with $18.99. It's kind of like, it's okay. And they're like, no. You got to keep going.
You got to keep watching, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny that you say that, because I say I didn't see it. But, yeah, I watched the first one. And my wife and I watched it, and she goes, that this isn't for me. You can watch it yourself. I said, okay. And I never went back to it. But yet then when I speak to other family members, they say, oh, you didn't finish it? Oh, man, it was really it was really popping. You got to watch it.
Oh, you know what show was like that for me? Oh, my God. The one, John Turturro's in it and Christopher Walken is in it. Oh, my God. What is it on? It's on Apple Plus, I think.
Oh, I don't have that.
I don't either.
What am I thinking of? The guy from Parks and Rec. He was one of the main characters was on that. Oh, why can't I think of that show? Severance. I'm telling you, that show, I just finished it. It was like 8 or 9 episodes long. And the first episode, I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be a comedy because, oh my God, I need to get the guy's name because he was in Parks and Rec. What the heck's his name? Adam Scott. Adam Scott was in Parks and Rec. And I see the ads for it. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be funny because Adam Scott's hilarious. And I'm like, this isn't funny. This is like science fiction.
Yeah.
And it is one of the best shows I have seen in years. When the 9th episode was over, I was like salivating. I was ready to lick the screen. I wanted more. I'm like, where's season 2?
Wow.
You know what I'm talking about, Alex.
Yeah, I never really thought about licking the screen, Austin, but hey, everybody has their own thing. That's complete. I'm fine with it all.
Well, I guess a lot of the viewers have some shows to check out if they haven't checked any of these out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well,
all right,
guys, thanks so much again for hanging out with us. Appreciate it. Alex, I hope you would come on the channel again, maybe on one of our other streams. It'd be great to chat some more. And same with you, Austin. And Cara, as always, it's a pleasure hosting with you. And everyone, have yourselves a great night. We'll be live again tomorrow night with Chris Wozniak talking his new Indiegogo campaign for Penelope Powerhouse. And then we're going to dive into his lawsuit with DC since they used his script for the movie The Batman. and he's looking to get some credit for that. So everyone, have
credit.
yourself,
you know what? I feel bad because yes, he wants credit for it, and he goes, "Hey, and I just want to get paid what the writers got paid."
Yep.
And they said, "Well, I mean, this was like so unheard of." They said, "Well, you didn't have permission to write the story, so that's why we're suing you." You know, but yet when you're pitching an idea to an editor, what are you supposed to use? Like the Black Owl for Batman? No, you use Batman, and you write a Batman script or a Superman script. And then they go, well, and they start talking about, you know, what you're lacking or what's so great about it, and you get a job. But here he did that 30 years ago, and they said, you know what, it's not really grabbing us too much, and they kind of maybe left it by the wayside, and now all of a sudden it's like, hey, what are you talking about? You know?
Exactly. So we'll dive into that with him.
Yeah, I was going to say it's so interesting because, you know, we have about over 45 artists on the project, The Masters, and every single one of them has a similar story. Every single one of them has mentioned something like this to me over the course of time. Maybe not on as a grand a scale as the Batman, but somewhere along the line, they pitched a story to an editor, and next thing you know, a year or two down the road, they see their story being printed and drawn by somebody else.
Yeah.
That never happened to me.
Good. Good.
I did storyboard a movie once that never got made, and I never got paid. But you know,
well, that's no good.
Yeah, my first movie storyboarding experience 20-something years ago at Universal Studios in Florida, and they got to that. You know, I was getting paid. Everybody was getting paid on a regular basis. They flew in people from California. They had art directors and line producers and executive producers and set directors and location guys. The whole gamut was Universal. And then all of a sudden, some funding block was supposed to come through Europe and through Canada, and somehow it got lost in the sauce. In the meantime, while we were waiting for this funding block, we were still working. So everybody was doing like somewhere from 4 to 6 weeks of work. And then they said, look, when you get the money, call us back, you know, and then the guy skipped town, and, you know, nobody ever heard of him again.
Wow.
So, bummer.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks. There's not much you can say about that.
No.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I'm going to say good night. And if I don't speak to you before the new year, I hope you guys everybody has a, you know, happy holiday season coming up, and happy new year and all that good stuff. And everybody stay safe and healthy too. You know, my daughter didn't make it to Thanksgiving because she had a new baby. You know, well, I shouldn't say. George Carlin would say, "Well, what's the difference between a new baby and an old baby?" Okay, no, she had a baby, 10 months old, and the family caught COVID. You know, so they couldn't make it to Thanksgiving, and but they're okay now. But I just hear too many stories. Especially with conventions. I don't know how many conventions you might be hopping to, but I've been very lucky. I must have done about 12 shows this year. I never got sick except maybe this one time. The last time I thought I might have gotten COVID. It wasn't. It was just the typical con crud, which can sometimes be worse. Okay. And that was horrible. You know, you just feel like somebody hit you with a baseball bat, you know, and you're not even in a John Wick movie. You know, so it felt really awful. But and yet, you know, a buddy of mine, J.C. Vaughn, I don't know if you know J.C. Vaughn.
Very well.
Shelton Drum from Heroes Con, other people, a week after they go, we caught COVID. And some of these people sat next to me for 10, 15 minutes, and we just, you know, chatted. And luckily enough, every time I tested, I was okay. So I don't know. I guess I'm living right. You got to be semi-retired not to catch COVID. That's what it comes down to. Okay. All right, guys. Good night. Right. Hang in there.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks again.
So
good night.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Sure. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on Pop XP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the Pop XP and over on Instagram at the Pop XP. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you soon.